Good evening and welcome to another Monday Night Live. Thank you for joining Simon and I here at Precision Golf, live from the UK in West Byfleet. A big weekend of golf just gone by as usual. Tiger's new branding, his early shanks, and retired because he had the flu or a little sniffle. But interesting.
It's a proper shank, wasn't it?
Proper. Full hosel rocket.
Tight back.
Full hosel rocket.
Yeah.
As usual, we are streaming from Good Golf Coaching and the Precision Golf channel, taking your questions on all things club fitting and, of course, coaching from myself. We're now both holding iPads this week. For those of you that watched last week, me trying to juggle two of them.
So it's slightly easier for me to ask Stuart his questions and him to ask. And I worked out who's Statler and who's Waldorf.
Oh, go on then.
So they are named after two buildings in New York, two hotels, and Statler's the taller one, so that makes them you.
Oh, that's me.
Waldorf's the uglier one with the glasses, which is quite appropriate.
Perfect, good to know. Keep the heckles coming in. For those of you that have entered the competition, there is still time to do so. In fact, there isn't time to do so because we put all of the names in the hat. For those of you that subscribe to both the channels and entered with a competition, we are going to be drawing a name out of the hat that will win a club fitting and a skillless session or in-person lesson with me. So stay tuned for that a little bit later on. And of course, as usual, we're taking the questions and the heckling live on the iPads.
Yeah, as much as possible on both counts, please.
Yeah, absolutely. So the Genesis, great win for Hideki, who came strong on the last day. 6 under going out, I believe, and he had 4 or 5 birdies.
So he did, yeah. He birdied first 3 holes, then 6 pars in a row, then birdied 3 of pars, and then birdied 3. Literally 16, 17, stuck 2 shots to within a foot.
Yeah. Incredible. Laura Davies said, is that not the one that we just watched a second ago? Because it was an identical shot, but she got confused herself of how remarkable it was of the same.
I suppose his hand came off the club on the par 3 again. I've pushed it a bit.
He's got a bit of a history of that, hasn't he? He does like a little, a bit like Jim Furyk. Jim Furyk was like that, wasn't he? He had a big lean and it come down 3 feet from the flag back in the day. Of course, it would be wrong of us to not talk about the ladies' golf as well. There was a big event going on in Saudi Arabia. Patty Tavatanakit, bless you, thank you very much.
Very good.
Won on 18 under par and a bit of a runaway win in the end.
Yeah, very impressive that last round.
Yeah.
Was it 7 under last round? Just never looked like coming back to anyone. Very impressive.
No. Our very own Charlie Hull, who's working with Kate, Strength and Conditioning, got a nice shout out on the TV at the weekend. Charlie obviously means business, and I think we've had a little insight into the dedication that she's putting in with her training every day here before she went away, and training super hard behind the scenes on tour. Certainly a lady that has really sort of rededicated herself to the game. Hasn't potentially done as much as we'd have all thought early on in her career, but we're expecting, right word, maybe we anticipate great things from Charlie.
Yeah, I think, as we've said before, I think the trend's there. And when you think the work that we've witnessed here, I think the thing that I noticed was that she looked happy for once. She looked really mentally really even keel. She looked like it might sound like an odd comment. She looked like she really wanted to be there, and looked mentally up for it, and just bright. So yeah, I think she looked like she felt good about herself. I think that's just a massive part of it, isn't it?
Most definitely. For those of you that might be new to joining us on a Monday Night Live, we answer all the questions through the iPads. If there is anything that you want Simon or I to hit or test, you can happily request and we will get around to it. We answer all your questions as best we can. Anything on the coaching side, feel free to do that. We've got James on drums. He is languishing back there now with this lease line. There is no stress in it.
Sat there with a pina colada in
hand,
chilling out.
I know, incredible. For those of you that haven't already also know, we've got our Team Challenge Trophy that is taking place in a few months' time. So do head over to teamchallengetrophy.com wedge.com, where you can find out all of the details to that event. So who's online and who is giving us some grief or banter, shall we say? Let me throw one your way first, Simon. Hi, gents. I had an amazing fit with Simon the other week. Very insightful as always, and proof yet again that PG can deliver great results without making you break the bank. Very nice of you to say. Some quick question on wedges. How does the latest Ping Glide comp to Mizuno or SM10s in terms of feel complement Mizuno or SM10s, grind offerings and overall performance? Any reason to go for forged heads in wedges? Thanks, Yevgeny.
Hi, Evgeny. I think forged versus casting wedges is a bit of an overrated thing. I think from a feel point of view and a material hardness point of view, the cast heads are as soft as the forgings. Just the castings easier for them to make more models and more grind shapes. I would say I was really impressed with the Ping heads. The Vokeys I was also very impressed with. I think the big point of difference is the Mizuno heads are all the same weight. So the 50 degree is quite a lot heavier than in other brands. It also makes the 60 a little bit lighter, but they're the same head weight all the way through, whereas pretty much all the others progress heavier as you go down up in loft. Ping have added some grinds this year, so they've added the H grind and the B grind. The H grinds along the lines of a D grind Vokey, and the B grinds along the lines of a kind of slightly shallowed off M grind, so like a low wide. I think that's going to help them a lot. I think the more offerings is always good. The Mizuno wedges, the sole's a bit narrower, so that's the one thing here. A slightly narrower sole width is a bit less versatile in terms of shaping them and getting them to work in a variety of conditions. They're all good for spin, but I think the Pings are going to be strong this year. Nice, clean-looking head.
Very good, very good. Peter Caller asks, good evening, gents. If possible, can you discuss the new Ping S159 wedges and how they would fit certain types of players?
Yeah, embargo lifted last week, so we can now officially talk about them. I think with any wedge, the way you get them to suit the player is the loft gapping and then the sole shape, the bounce, getting the sole to complement how the player delivers the club and the turf and the sand that you play off. Outside of that, it's really about gapping. Now, Peter, I know he's a tall gentleman, hence we've been waiting for the Pings to come in. They're due in this week. And being able to go, they're the only head we can go lighter in wedges, and so that's a real standout marker for Ping this year. So if you're taller, then Ping you can get longer in length and not sledgehammer heavy.
Very good. Anything coming on over?
Got a few comments for you. Yeah, there's one saying, Gary Satterfield, hey Stu, try to talk quietly, I'm at work.
Thank you for being here, Gary.
Ian Cox said, could you show me the Swiss ball backswing drill, how and what rotates on the backswing, please?
Of course. And we've just got the Swiss ball down here, rescued from one of the fitters. So we are going to need a wall on the left-hand side for those right-handers. So
I'll move out of the way.
Most golfers think about rotating through the middle, and this is a drill that I came up with years ago, and I was a bit precious over it because I think it's so influential, but something to share with everyone, because if we can all play better golf, we're going to have a better time, of course. So with the Swiss ball on the left hip, if you're a right-handed golfer, I'm feeling that the Swiss ball rolling down along the wall is going to make my middle work. Now, of course, the separation between upper body and lower body as we get older becomes worse. So when you're young, and a classic example is someone like Charlie has very little in the way of hip turn, quite a lot of shoulder turn, so a huge separation, huge mobility. Well, as you get older, as I say, you get less of that. So I'm feeling the Swiss ball is going to roll, but what I'm trying to do is feel like my shoulders are going to actually pull the Swiss ball around. What I wouldn't want to do is roll the Swiss ball and feel like that starts the move and then my shoulders move. So I'm really feeling how my shoulders can work, and then once I start to reach a bit of a sticking point, then I feel the Swiss ball gets rolled along the wall. For me, I'm trying to use the Swiss ball as something, as a pushback. We've all thought about loading the right leg laterally, and when you move laterally, it really stops your lower half working. So I want to feel a force going off in that direction, which will feel like my right hip can start to roll back. And then what I want to feel is a bit of a force going away with the handle, which then starts to suck my chest into forward flexion. So we get a really nice bottom and top opposition with the awareness of the Swiss ball rolling down the wall that allows me to feel like I can stay a little more centered and stay over the top of the golf ball. So a really great drill for those of you that have a bit of a lateral shift in your backswing and really want to fire up your right foot, because invariably we've been thought about a backswing as moving to the right, and of course that can start to shut down hip turn and move the low point of the golf swing too far to the right. Drop kicks and thins come from the same family if you're too far off the golf ball. Very good.
Very nice. I need to get me a Swiss ball by the looks of it.
Yeah, it's a great coaching aid. There's many drills that we can do with it. Frank Lehman, hello from Germany. Hello Frank, nice to have
Good
you
evening.
with us. Yeah, that's a name that I haven't seen, I don't think, before. How important is fitness and stretching for a good golf swing? And thank you for your top great best content. Thank you for your tip, maybe best content.
I think he likes your polo shirt.
Yeah,
personally.
well, I mean, I get a bit
You're
of
going
ribbon.
for the lightning effect. Had green last time.
Green last minute. Yeah, just pops, doesn't it? Yeah. Look, stretching, fitness and stretching. I mean, mobility is great. If you can mobilise, you can stabilise. So it's really important to get some good mobilisation. Allows you to stabilise your movement, and then if you can layer on some strength on that, look, you're going to be a pretty formidable golfer. As we're getting older, we're all getting more or less supple, more stagnant.
Stiff.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and I think that's when when we have Monty down here and a few of the senior tour players, and you see Monty pick up a golf club and he swings it like he still looks like an 18-year-old. And I asked him a question: do you feel stiff when you play and stuff like? No, I mean, you're just blessed with good mobility when you're playing that much golf. If I play 5 rounds of golf and I go away on a golf trip, I'm like stiff as a board. After I've played that much,
Yeah.
But when you see these guys that are, that are playing a lot of golf and they have done for the whole of their career, I think you don't appreciate how flexible they are. So, yeah, flexibility, mobility, and strength is huge for when it comes to swinging efficiently.
Yeah, I think to add on to that, I completely agree. I think as we get older, most of us, thankfully not the two of us, but most of us are sat at a desk for a long time, static. And I think what I see in the fitting bay is the people who've got good mobility are able to get a good range of motion, but most importantly, stay balanced. And if you lose your balance, that's when the golf game really goes off the strike. So exactly what Stuart was saying in that drill there is that you start to move off the ball, then you're moving your centre, and then it's just harder to find the ball repeatedly. So it sounds like a relatively small thing, but that mobility and range of motion really unlocks an awful lot of other things as well.
Very good. Don't forget, we'll be drawing the winner of our competition at the end of the show, so stay tuned for that.
Got a few for you. Actually, there's one for me there as well. But Niels Axelson, never saw a Swiss ball used for golf exercises like that. Please share more, maybe on a theme-based video on the channel.
Will do.
Stuart and his Swiss ball.
Yes.
There's the ready-made title.
Well, there are a few on there already.
Well, Stuart and his balls.
Moving on.
Mike T, I tend to hold my glove hand high on the